Yo everyone, welcome to Amps, Pedals and Pickups. My name is Nathan and this is the first ever episode of the pre-owned series that I've just kicked off. Now this series is all about getting pre-owned gear. Maybe some of it's good, maybe some of it's not good, maybe you used to own some, maybe you always wanted to own something and now it's super affordable. It all falls under the bucket of pre-owned gear. And today we're going to be checking out the ENGL Fireball 60 watt V1. Now this is the V1, you can tell from the mirror faceplate. This is an absolutely crushing amp. ENGLs are something that I always wanted to own, but they were disgustingly expensive in Australia, and I think they were in the States. I think they were only reasonable in Europe. So being able to get my hands on gear like this, really awesome stuff. All right, enough talking. Let's kick you over to some sweet footage that I captured of the ENGL Fireball, along with some tunes that I've done some reamping through this, and then we'll go through and check out everything going on here with the ENGL Fireball 60 watt. Alright, cool, so we've got everything hooked up here, so we have the Fireball going on the clean channel at the moment. Everything's pretty much dialed in at noon now. We'll try and go through all the settings. Now, I'm not going to get a ton of use out of the clean channel, but for me, from an ENGL amp, which you would think is just like crazy metal, this is actually super clean stuff. You know, for an ENGL amp that's just like balls to the wall metal stuff, I find this channel, the clean channel, extremely clean in this context. You know, much better than a PV, a Marshall, that kind of thing. So I think they're doing really well. I'm not going to use the clean channel a ton, but if I ever did need to lean on it, I think it's very competent. All right, there's no point really going too deep into the tone stack, but just a quick little flick through. Let's check out the knobs. So depth knob. I never found much use for the depth knob on the clean mode, but the bright knob, that actually really makes things sparkle. If I hooked up a compressor, I could do some more scar chords. You know where this one's coming from. Anyway, that's about as deep as I go into the clean channel. All right, so pretty much zeroed out all the knobs there. Got the gain down low, the bright off, depth off, Tubescreamer off. Let's hear the gain channel, because this is what we all want to hear on this kind of amp. Now with no boost pedal, I find that is the sort of breakup point. Anything past that is like way too compressed, and anything under that just needs a little bit of a push. So around there, what is that? 1 o'clock, that kind of setting. And man, this is just one of those amps that doesn't need a boost pedal. I could happily gig with a Tubescreamer, not a Tubescreamer, a noise gate. I could happily gig with this amp and a noise gate, and man. Alright, I've just taken the gain down. Let's check out the bright knobs. Yep, that's disengaged, so let's check it out. Let's check out the depth. Same thing, I also run the amp typically without the depth, but if I need to do it for some reason, if the guitar's too bright, then I can always add that in. Sometimes you mess around with the depth and the bass knob. Sometimes things just aren't reacting, and you can just mess around with those two to get the right gain, EQ, and everything. All right, let's get a scooped sort of sound going. So. Just a bit of a balancing act. This is what I've landed on, and yeah, here's the tone. So yeah, if I was going for a scooped tone, these are the sorts of settings that I'd use. Now, I'm using a pretty bright IR. If you're miking a cab, it's like dead center stuff with a 57 and a different mic. So that's obviously going to affect the overall tone. All right, let's do a quick EQ sweep so you can see all the settings going on. No Tubescreamer. Let's take a listen. So yeah, as you can hear, the middle and treble, they're doing heaps of lifting in the tone. I think a lot of that stuff is coming from the mids and trebles, and then I'm just sort of using the bass and presence to do like a final compensation. All right, for a sort of mid-forward tone, this is what I've landed on. Actually, let's give it a bit more bass. And again, no boost pedal. This just sounds amazing. We'll give it a bit of a push. You know what, we'll leave the EQ there, but let's mess around with the Tubescreamer. So I'll bring this gain savagely down. And you can see on the Tubescreamer, I just have a kiss of drive, a lot of volume push going on, and we'll leave the tone at neutral. On this Tubescreamer clone, there's like a less gain and a more gain. So obviously I've gone for more gain because that's what you do. And then we've got a few different Tubescreamer circuits. We'll check them out as we engage it. So. Let's check out the different Tubescreamer modes. That's a little bit, that definitely got rid of a lot of the low end. That one doesn't particularly pair too well. Let's change the modes. You know what? Let's change, we'll engage the depth knob. That's why it's great having all these different settings, different scenarios, different pedals, so. That feels absolutely monstrous. That pedal, these settings going on. That's why I love having the gear sometimes, just to be able to stumble onto these new combinations of gear. Awesome stuff. Been learning some counterpart stuff, and man, some of these chords are just so finicky under the hands, but with a tone like this, they just absolutely rip. Check this out. Absolute fatness. There we go, that's a quick little demo of the ENGL Fireball V1 60 watter. Now the whole point of this series is pre-owned gear, so it's like value for budget, you know, is the stuff any good? And man, if you can get your hands on one of these, go for it. Now the guy that I got this off, absolute legend, you know, he saved up literally his paper route money or whatever job he was doing. I got this off him, had a good chat, you know, he almost didn't want to part ways with it, but we all grow a little bit older. I think he'd honestly had this for like 15 to 20 years, so I also like hearing some of the stories that come with this stuff, and I'm really going to cherish this stuff, you know. When I get gear off someone like that, I don't take it lightly. Like, I'm not here to just flip gear. I'll hold on to this for as long as possible until it sort of makes sense to move it on, and then I'll do the right thing. I'll sort of pass it off for the right price. You know, I just want to do that sort of stuff. It's just good karma into the world, especially when it comes to gear. So that's pretty much it. If you're down with the ENGL Fireball, if you own one, or if you've owned one, or if you like any other ENGL amps, let me know in the comments below. I always keep my ear to the ground for pre-owned gear. So as always, if you stuck around to the end of the video, you're an absolute legend, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.